What is going on, guys? Joey here, and I am actually on my way to the dentist, but I have a 30-minute drive, so I said to myself, you know what? It has been very difficult as of the last couple days to be able to find a moment to just sit down and record with no dogs around, not being distracted, things like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it in the car. And when I spoke with some of you guys at Junior Nationals, some of you guys felt that when I make these kinds of videos, whether I'm like walking outside or just talking to you guys in the car, that it just feels almost more personable, or like I'm just with you and we're just you and me talking. It's like a personal conversation or something, which I thought was pretty interesting. So who knows? Maybe you guys will like it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Junior Nats and some of the takeaways from Junior Nats. Just like, they're just reminders, right? You guys have been with me for a long time. This channel's been around since 2016. It's been like 8 years now. For some of you guys, some of the OGs. So you guys already know a lot of this stuff. And I just wanted to kind of go over a brief summary of how my lifters, the ones that work with me personally, did. Literally just gonna like do a broad strokes approach. My mind has been like very focused on getting them situated after the meet, and then focusing on Worlds, which is going to be probably the hardest Worlds to prepare for ever, just because of the amount of lifters. And we're working together with a new but old team coach, and there's just like some little bit more commitments on our side that we need to do, and it's just been like kind of busy. That, and then getting the junior girls, shout out to the junior girls of mine that made it to Worlds. Pretty good. Anyway, first off, we started the week with Daisy. I believe she was the first lifter that competed for the team. It was just me and my boy Joey. Joe, W-E-E, Joey. He came out to handle. That way I could just focus on lifting. Focus on her lifting, calling numbers, and he took care of the warm-ups and stuff. And then I could like just make sure she had everything she needed, so she got like a lot of attention for that. She had sorry, that's my car telling me to slow down. She had a 20-hour drive coming into the meet. And this was like a very last minute thing. We did not know that was going to happen when they had looked at the tickets. I guess they were busy. There were some problems with her school in terms of like her graduating. And she wanted to walk on stage, so she couldn't miss rehearsal. And like basically they ended up having to drive from Florida to Austin, Texas at the last minute. And there was like a lot of crazy weather at that time. So it was like a lot of variables all at the last minute. A big change that we wanted to make from her last meet was just to pay more attention to nutrition, because it was just very like under what it needed to be last time. So I basically just became like extremely hands-on, because when you're dealing with the weight cut and stuff like that, it's like a day-to-day thing. And then literally the night before, it was like hour to hour. It was like every 90 minutes. And then when we got really close to the end of the night, it was just constant communication. And then we even met up in person to check her weight, and then just like talk a little bit. And it worked really well. I think we handled that very well. She was able to eat the day before the meet. She had like waffles and breakfast, and she said she's never done that before a meet. So that was a huge thing. And then I was still wary, because the drive was still like, that's like a lot. I know that would kind of just like sap my soul if I had to do that. Came into the meet. Opener was fine. Took a bigger jump to the second attempt. Nothing too big. It was like 7 kilos, I believe. Or 10 kilos, 402 to 424. It moved like kind of iffy. We ended up taking a small jump, and then it actually moved better than the one before. And that's probably just because we're still warming up, and then the jump might have been good for a day where she felt like super strong in training, but you're lifting under all these different circumstances. The drive may have affected squat the most. So that was the one that kind of took a little bit of a hit. But it wasn't a big deal. She hit 429. It was great. And then bench went really well. 3 for 3, bench PR. Called it right on the money. And then deadlift, same thing. 3 for 3, called it right on the money. I want to say almost like a 20-pound meet PR. And we have not really been working together that long. So we don't get too much of an off-season before Worlds, but we do have some other things we can work on. So yeah, pretty good there. And then up next, I guess I'll go over Grant's meet. Grant, Haley, and Weez were all lifting in prime time. Grant, he got sick like multiple times this prep, and he was like dealing with some hip stuff, so like it was rough. It was like a little bit discouraging. Grant also has a very, 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 very fast metabolism. Probably if there was like tiers of metabolism, he's the top. He's like the maximum plus. He needs like 5,500 calories a day, like just to maintain, and then count, all the other things that he's doing. And he moves around a lot, right? He's like constantly moving, so he's just like constantly burning calories. So when you get sick, your metabolism's already going crazy, and you just end up like losing weight. You become, a little bit weaker, and it was just like a tough thing to navigate. The hip thing too was kind of affecting squat, but I mean, we got a good handle on that now. The block that I made him after this meet in response to everything is probably one of the most like nuanced blocks that I've ever made. Just all the little tiny things that we're trying to deal with. But it's very specific to help navigate and address like current issues, right? And that's kind of, if he has no problems, then we just kind of go with our bread and butter. So that'll be good. But anyway, he ended up winning first place. I mean, one of his competitors bombed out. The other one had a tough meet. So, I mean, he was able to take it. I mean, you got to be happy with the dub. Unfortunately, he was not selected for Worlds, even though he won, because they changed the criteria, which was like very like demoralizing and like painful. Like that sucked like a lot, especially because there's an expectation that you're gonna have this experience. Turns out you're not. We did the calculations before we got the results, and we kind of knew that like it's gonna be close because they like I said, they changed the criteria, which sucks. I mean, I think if you win, you should go. I mean, you won. You're the best in your at nationals. So why not? But it is what it is. Just got to get better and make them have no choice next time, right? Next up, we have, I guess I'll save Weez for last because his peak was like the craziest. We have Haley. Haley literally wasn't even going to do this meet. It was like a couple months ago. She's like, I have all these like life circumstances that I need to take care of. I don't think I should do the meet. And I just said, like, you've been working really hard for this. Like, I want you to come out. She might have been right because she did deal with a lot coming into the meet. Like, it's like really personal and I don't want to get into it. But let's just say there's like real shit happening in the world and like everybody's got stuff that they're dealing with. And she's a trooper. She's dealing with it. She's handling it. But it really just put... until those things get handled, lifting like cannot really become a priority. But we are working on those things and moving things around to put it at the forefront as much as we can. And that's the thing, like we forget that like lifting is like a luxury, right? Like we think it's like our life and we treat it as like it's more important than like other things, but like things that like where you sleep and, being able to pay your bills and like being able to meet your commitments are probably far more important than, lifting weights. I know it doesn't feel like that, but I mean, it is what it is. And like stuff like that is like, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but it's like, it's a lot. But she still did it. She's still super young. She's going to grow from this. She's going to learn from it. You know, I'm not going to quit on her. She did lose a lot of weight, like crazy amount of weight, like in a very short amount of time, like 8 pounds in a week. That doesn't even make sense. You know, I don't even know, like she doesn't, like, we don't know what that is. And until we got to get that figured out before anything else. But she completed the meet. She ended up getting a world spot. So, like, hey, man, you never know, right? You never know what can happen. You just got to show up and compete. I don't know how they did the criteria this year. I'm sure it makes sense when it's all explained. But, I mean, I know how, but it's just, like, it's just weird how it played out. It's just weird how it played out. But I'm proud of her for at least showing up, handling business, and, you know, it'll be a learning experience. And I think if you guys remember that 2018 meet with Russ, after that meet, we're like, never again. Like, we're never going to lose like this again. And he never did. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Anyway, next and last but not least is Big Wheeze. I remember when he was little Wheeze. He peaked insanely. Everything was pretty much like mapped out from the beginning. He actually was way stronger on meet day than, on his squat, at least. Well, but I would say the other two, too. But he was way stronger than anything that we had done in the gym. And it was kind of hard on the day to, like, figure that out because, like, we're just taking the max jump on everything and he's, like, blowing it up. And it's like, okay, well, you know, we gotta like find his max. And because his competitor competed in the morning, who hit up a crazy 910 kg total at 120 junior, that's a lot for us to have to hit, right? So we have to figure out now, okay, how do we max him out without, you know, overdoing it? But we don't really have like a good framework on how strong he's going to be at the top end because we haven't competed in 18 months. We knew it'd be somewhere around 345 kg. But I think he probably had 350 RPE 10. 347 probably would have been good too. Again, it's been a long time, so we ended up going safe 342.5. Moved so fast, so incredibly fast. Really, really, really happy with the peak. On bench, we actually thought there'd be a little bit more juice, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a little hot in there. I'm not blaming it on the heat. But it was a little hot in there, and that can affect how some lifters feel in certain situations. So we ended up taking a bigger jump to 200 kg. And it was like iffy, so we just did a small jump and ended up missing it. He has a sneaky lockout. We call it the sneaky lock, and you don't really see it coming, but then all of a sudden you just hit a wall. So it's one of those things where it's not, even though he might seem really strong on one lift, it's still probably going to be a thing, and we just gotta stay true to our guns and not think that it's just going to go away magically. But yeah, 200 kg PR at this body weight for sure. I mean, I think it's lifetime PR. Not in the gym, because I know he YOLO'd like more than that a long time ago on a fat pad. But then coming into deadlift, we had like this deficit that we had to make up. So, I mean, we're trying to like figure out the math of like what he would need to pull. And we knew that he peaked really, really, really hard on squat. So we thought like, I mean, it's possible, right? We're in kind of like no man's land. Like, we're in discovery mode. You know, we're trying to discover that top end strength. We're not really sure where it's going to be. Probably was around 357.5 looking back. But we had to do 10 kg more than that. And it was just a little bit much. He got to the knees, and we could have easily just kind of gone for second, but he didn't want that. He wanted to go for it all. He was like so dead set on that. And I asked him, I said, dude, like, are you sure? I don't want to, you know, if everybody's getting ready for Worlds, I don't want you to be sad later. And he's like, no, I don't care. Like, I just want to go for it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I don't deserve it. And I was like, all right. when you have that conviction, then you can live with your decision, no matter how risky, and you can just like make it easy on yourself. Like there's no other option. I'm going for it. I don't care if I miss. I'll live with either way. I'll live with it either way. So we went for it, missed it, no worries. He did get a reserve spot. He did get a NAPF invitation, but I think we're just gonna not do either of those and just get ready for the next. Get ready for something fun at the end of the year, probably. Really proud of everybody's effort. The takeaways are, one, like nutrition is like really, really, really important. If you're able to handle that, or if it can be uninterrupted, it's literally going to just show. It is going to directly affect what you do on the platform. So the need for a good nutritionist continues to rise the more powerlifting becomes popular, I guess you could say, or more. There's more at stake each time you compete. In addition, when you have like nagging issues, they may be bigger than you assume, and you don't want to. If you go more than like 2 or 3 sessions and you're not hitting your workout normally because you're having to lower the weight because of pain, you are probably in losing strength territory. So you got to get a handle on that. Like literally, I would say that's the time frame that I've found. 1 session, 2 session, not that big a deal. 3, 4, 5, okay, now you're starting to like degrade a little bit, and you can get it back quickly if you can get back to training normally, but you have to take care of it. If you don't recognize it until it's too late, then it's going to be difficult to do what you want to do. Next takeaway is you got to have your life in order before you can really give your all to other things, right? It's almost like when you're in a relationship, and if you don't have your stuff together, how are you supposed to care about somebody else? How are you supposed to care for someone else? And if I sound stuffy, it's because it's early in the morning and my allergies are destroying me. Anyway, what else? I really liked the venue. I really liked, both locations were fine. I personally liked the first one just because I liked the lighting better. And it was a little bit more like felt almost like an IPF meet where like the lights, how they had the lights set up, and it wasn't like gloomy or whatever, but it was all good. It was smooth, no problems. So far, Powerlifting America has been really good. And I'm just excited to see what happens next, what they come up with next. For me, I got IPF Worlds soon. I'm leaving in like 2.5 weeks. It is coming up I'm really excited for that one. This is like the Super Bowl, you know? I mean, I would say this. I'd say it's like Super Bowl. That and Sheffield, like the Super Bowl for me. I got a lot of goals, a lot of ambitious goals, a lot of. I have a couple lifters competing, and I think you guys are going to be pretty pleasantly surprised. They've been a little bit quiet on the gram right now, but it's gonna be fun. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video. If you made it to the end, let me know in the comments somehow. Say hashtag whatever you want. You guys put whatever you want in the comments down below. I will try to come out with another just like straight up more informative video at the end of the week. I'm going to hit this dentist appointment. Then I got to go see Big Will, who's in town. And then we're going to a doctor's appointment. So wish me luck. Anyway, guys, have a good week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.